Hey now.
What's going on?
All right. Welcome.
What's up, fellas?
Halenville Live on a Wednesday night, January the 5th, 2022. I like the way that sounds. 2022. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, you guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
How you guys doing? We got an extra dude on the panel tonight.
That's right, man. Keith Campbell, welcome, my buddy. You're a rocker, brother.
Thanks. Great to be on. Appreciate you guys letting me on here.
Keith, welcome,
Good
bro.
morning, man.
How you doing, dude? Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Yeah, things are going good. You know, things are rough, but I'm in my Halenville, so I'm with family.
The holidays
on.
are over.
Yep.
Dude, Keith, where are you right now? What part of the
Right
country?
now, I'm in my living room in San Diego.
Excellent. San
Oh, I'm
Diego.
jealous, San Diego.
Yeah, so am I.
Very cool.
Gorgeous there.
It's still chilly at night, you know, 40-ish. Sometimes I
Yeah.
have to scrape the ice off the windshield.
Oh, wah.
You know, I went out shopping today, and the grocery clerk, she was like, "Thank God you weren't out last night. It was insane here," because for some reason, San Diegans, they like to go nuts on a full moon with a king tide.
Mm.
I was in San Diego for a couple of years, several years ago. But yeah, man, I love it down there, bro.
It's gorgeous, though. The sunsets are out of this world, but it's, you know, it's wonderful if you can afford it lately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's a coastal town, it still gets as low as 40 or ice on the windshields, even on the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
I can go down there tomorrow morning. I'll be scraping my windshields at
Is
7
it just a
o'clock.
short winter? Is it just the month of January?
It's usually from like December through February, and then March it gets rainy.
Yep.
And then right around May, they have the marine layer come in. They call it the May grays and the June glooms. So you basically have a fog bank that comes in, and it just keeps it overcast, and you know, and then it clears up during the middle of the day, and then right before sunset, it comes back in.
Keith, what is it? What's the high temperature like on a day like today? In the high 50s, low 60s?
Yeah, it's been like around the 60s lately. So
Oh, that's cool.
I'll take it. Right,
yeah,
kid?
I know.
Yeah.
I can take it too.
Yeah, I'll take
It's like
it right
summertime,
now.
huh?
Yeah.
But with all things that are going on, I don't know. I'd rather just stay inside and clean my house.
Wow. Cool. Very
Keith,
cool.
welcome, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Dude,
Welcome to Halenville.
so you were supposed to go see the last show of the Vegas run, which was originally supposed to be on the 8th, which is this Saturday. Yeah, and they have recently canceled everything.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So
I'm sorry, Keith.
I'm sorry for everybody. I'm sorry for everybody, not just me, but for all of us fans who were going. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, especially those of us who were planning to go on the original last show. You know, for the 8th. I know that's why I got those tickets, for that reason alone. I wanted his last party. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody throws a party like Dave. You guys all know
You got
that.
that
If
right,
you've been
Keith.
to enough shows, you know what kind of party, you know. What's the old quote? Okay, everybody else throws a party. I am the party.
That's
Aha.
right.
That's true.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So you got to be there
Greatest
for the last
greatest
hurrah.
front man in the history of rock.
That's it. That's
No
my
question.
stance on it. My stance on it. Absolutely.
So Keith, they added more dates behind that 8th last show. A number of dates. after it, which all got scratched anyway. But goodness, it seemed like it was just one thing after another there.
Well, guys, do we even have any kind of a rumored reason why they're getting scratched?
I
COVID.
can explain why they picked up the other ones though.
They tried to
those were the
spin the
Santana
first
dates.
two. They tried to spin the first two as a COVID thing. The second announcement, they didn't even bother.
Well,
So
I'm
Yeah,
not
but
talking
Dave's
about
manager said it was COVID.
the postponement. I'm talking about the pickup of the extra dates after mine,
Oh,
because those were supposed to be Santana's dates. He was doing a residency, and he had to cancel out. And then I
Really?
guess
Dave took his dates.
yeah,
Oh.
HOB offered them to him. I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
According
then that was the writing on the wall, though, because Santana came down with COVID. So there's the writing on the wall.
But there was still a gap of time between those dates being put up.
That's right.
And Santana
I had ordered my
having to
tickets
fill them.
in October.
Yeah, but if Santana catches COVID in October, why is he canceling dates in January?
because he probably got it bad and he's not.
He got it after Thanksgiving.
He probably went, I don't want to die and I don't want to.
And that's when Dave took the dates?
He took the dates over after Thanksgiving at the beginning of December, I believe.
But wouldn't
I'm not
Santana
sure on the
field in
date,
time
but
to
I
do
know
the
it was after
to do
Thanksgiving.
the dates?
But
So just to be clear, the first two dates that got canceled were COVID related. That was the excuse for
They
the.
blamed it on COVID.
Okay.
Right.
That's what it all was. So Keith,
All the dates.
so what happened when you first heard about this getting scratched? How'd you learn about that to start?
The first thing like you guys finding out, are you talking about with everything being canceled or with the first two dates?
With everything being
Everything.
canceled. Yeah.
Okay. I was flipping through Facebook, and one gentleman on one of the David Lee Roth sites on Facebook, he posted, and wasn't even 5 minutes after, he said, I found out 5 minutes ago that from administration that the House of Blues was canceling everything. They have yet to release an announcement yet. So right at that moment, I called up, and I was texting back and forth with him. And I asked him, because I tried reservations, and I had also tried a couple of other avenues that they gave options for, but I didn't go to administration. So I went back to him. He said, try administration. That's what worked for him. So I went there, and they said, yes, we're canceling everything. It hasn't been officially announced yet on the emails or the HOB site yet, or David Lee Roth's site yet. But we're making that announcement all in one piece. And here's what is going to be happening. All shows are going to be canceled. All ticket holders are going to have first chance at their tickets back. And that is from David Lee Roth. And I was appreciative about that.
So it shows an optimism to be back. Is that correct?
If they do reschedule, they said. There was that, caveat, if they do reschedule it.
Okay. Interesting.
But what's the latest news? The management, what are they saying?
Management said something about we got rained out and, that it was COVID's fault.
Okay. So it's still COVID's the problem, and
Are they blaming it on the city and the venue, trying to not have take the heat off Dave himself? Is it are they canceling?
Mandalay Bay canceled, I believe.
Mandalay Bay, that's what it says right there.
They don't want people in their
The
building.
representative at House of Blues, Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
So that would also include every other show, not just David Lee Roth's. Everything that they've got coming up.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sure.
the whole thing.
I gotcha. Okay, so it's a Mandalay Bay thing more than it's Dave.
Are there
Where's
any
Katy
other
Perry's
shows
shows though?
anywhere
Because
else
they
that
say
are
her
shutting
shows
down?
are standing. Is she
I
playing in a
wasn't
different
fully
venue?
aware of all this. Okay, this sheds a lot of light. Thank you very much, Keith. This sheds a lot of light, bro.
Yeah. Look at that painting. That says a lot right there.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right, so here's exactly word for word what his Ross manager said, I think today. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We got rained out. ... COVID canceled.
Yeah.
Future shows ? When the benefit concerts for Colorado, Farm Aid, and hospital workers everywhere come up, call me. All he said. That's totally Dave. I think he went to his manager and was like, "Here's what I want you to tell the public," because this sounds like Dave. Call me.
That does sound like Dave. He really does, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
let's, before we get too deep into this with Keith and this subject, let's recognize these fine folks joining us. Brendan B. Squared,
Brendan, what's going on, brother?
hanging out tonight. Thomas
Brendan.
Santiago, Ed Durable.
Thomas. Ed.
Nice to see you, Ed. Gear Junkie 35, Papa Blue, Christopher Life Sour,
You're junkie. Papa. Christopher.
I can't
Polly
believe
Walnuts,
there he is.
Thomas
Good to see you, Polly.
Santiago,
Thomas. What's up, bro?
Dan in New Jersey,
Dan.
Buffalo,
man.
New York.
and scrolling upward.
Thomas representing Buffalo,
Yeah. Well,
North Carolina. My buddy's family's lived in Buffalo their whole lives, like for like over 100 years,
Oh, good.
or generations back,
Mhm.
quite a while.
I had just lost a friend of mine this past week. His name was Ted Jackson.
Um,
He owned a bar down the street named JT's. He was from Buffalo and moved out here with his wife. And he is the salt of the earth. And he told me some stories about Buffalo that would drive anybody away.
well, my buddy, that his family's from his whole family's from Buffalo. His uncles, aunts, everyone still lives up there. His brother moved back to Buffalo. They're like, "Why the hell did you move back to that weather?" He moved back to Buffalo. He just loved it. But yeah, I've known him. I mean,
Summertime, it's great up there.
I've known him since I was 4 years old. So his mom, I'm like, "Hey, mom, what's up? Give me a hug." His dad, I'm like, "Hey, pops, what's up?"
Cool.
Yeah, they're great people up there, man. I think the cold does something to you. It takes a lot of the BS out of people's out of their system,
Yeah.
Like you don't have time to BS when you got 4 feet of snow. It's like, I don't know.
Summertime up there, it's gorgeous though. Oh.
No thanks.
We'll have trivia later also, but so we'll get to stump the panel too, because only me and that guy down there know what the question is.
I'm embarrassed. He asked me off air. I'll admit it. I froze.
Happened.
That hasn't happened to me. Like I think since I asked a girl out in high school. Like I literally was like, Tony's he's like, "Can you remember any of the tracks?" I'm like, "No, I have a total blank on the whole album right now." I was so embarrassed. Thank God it was only in front of Tony.
You're dropping hints already.
All right, I won't say anything else. You're right. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so you guys,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
You may not get it tonight.
Yeah, you might not. You might not.
I might be the winner. But one thing is for sure.
I've got a table over here that says different.
I know.
Keith, if you were in the chat tonight, you'd probably get it. But
Keith's not going to be our winner
I'm not even
tonight.
touching the chat.
Yeah.
I'm doing this off my phone, so.
Everybody else has a chance now.
Yep, I've leveled the playing field by becoming a guest.
There you go.
All right.
Don't let us get off tonight before you show us your guitar at some point.
Oh, Black Betty?
Yeah.
She's right here.
Nice. Yeah.
And I've got my guardian.
yeah.
Humble.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that is flipping
Is it matte?
spectacular.
That's nice.
Is it matte finish?
I still got to do a little bit of work, but she's nice.
Yeah,
She
Matt
plays real nice.
roasted neck, right? Roasted.
Keith, is
This
that matte
neck,
finish?
though,
Dude, that roasted neck is sweet.
it's
Yeah, look
just
at that.
right at the fifth
Wow.
fret.
Keith,
Everything
flip it
changes
around
like
so we can see the
hot.
back.
It's so beautiful.
With that matte black, dude, that's hot.
It does
Yeah.
look great.
And then
Yeah,
even
yeah,
the
yeah,
back end, you know, it's got that gorgeous striping there on the back end there, too.
Whoa,
Wow.
That
dude.
black, dude, it looks like a 50s hot
Yeah.
rod.
It
So
does.
I opened up the back end.
It's like very stealthy.
And-
What kind of wood is that on the neck, Keith?
Oh, it's roasted maple.
Nice.
I bet that
It's
neck
roll-
is
Roasted maple, basswood body. It's got the Wolfgangs.
Yep.
It's got got the Floyd Rose special here, and you know, regular locking nuts. Got the same, you know, typical tuners, the Fender tuners that they use,
Yep, yep.
you know, on all the Wolfgangs. But this thing is such a beast.
I love the
I've been
matte
putting so many hours in it. My
That's
my
really
forearm was
nice.
getting raw right
Oh,
right
yeah.
at the
It's-
right at the
it's-
edge here. So I just put a little piece of sandpaper to or my wife's nail file, just like cleaned off the edges,
Yeah.
Excellent,
just
buddy.
enough to keep the sharpness off.
Just give it just a little bevel so it doesn't.
Now it looks like a little baby binding.
Yeah.
Hey,
But,
they're
you
making
know,
blade,
it's
right?
a tool.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Ed
That's
wants it to
nice,
be treated,
dude.
so I'm going to treat it that way too.
That's a beautiful axe, my man. Beautiful.
Thank you. I love it.
I love it.
Black
That's
Betty.
great.
That's
Beautiful.
a mean
Nice.
looking beast.
Mm-hmm.
That is. That's
I like
beautiful.
it.
Nice.
Black Betty.
Yep.
That thing looks
So-
like it was built for speed.
Now, one of these days when I get good enough, I'll perform for you guys, but it's kind of hard. I got to adjust.
Oh, brother.
So the only way I could do that is maybe with a little slide action, you know?
You can make it work.
Yeah. I always adapt.
That's it, man.
Well, have you seen the guy that has no arms, not even hands, but no arms at all, and he plays with his feet?
So,
I've seen that. I've seen that video on YouTube, Tom.
He's played with a lot of big time guys. He was playing with Paul Gilbert, and then he played it like
oh, yeah.
Steve Vai things. I think he's from Brazil or something. But his
Yeah.
arms literally stop at the
Django.
shoulder. But he plays with his feet. And at first I'm like, all right, he's gonna strum some chords. He starts shredding a solo and like doing double stops. I'm like, whoa! And the guy's like, he's the calmest, like most zen guy. And he goes, I had no option. I wanted to play guitar. He goes, if I told you the amount of hours it took me to just to get the technical coordination down,
So
like, you wouldn't believe me.
so he plays with his he
He plays with his
uses both
toes.
his
Plays
feet,
with his toes, his
Plays
feet.
with his toes.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
both
Out of
at
this
once.
world. You got to look this stuff up and
And he-
watch his
And
videos.
he's not
Wow.
good for a guy that plays with his feet. He's just good.
Just flat good, man.
He's
Yeah,
The
a
kid
right.
shreds. He
Like,
shreds.
he's
He
played
plays
on
the
stage
blues.
with
He plays
Vai.
absolutely beautiful blues with his
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
And
It's-
his
Hey,
bend,
Charlie S.
his
He'll
bend
shake you up a
sound
little
like-
bit. It's
So-
Hey,
spectacular.
Tim.
You know, so if you think about it, Keith,
hmm
you get the length of his toes, and he's
Oh,
bent
yeah. I
low.
know. I mean, I'm just getting the feel right now with it.
You,
So-
you can definitely adapt. I mean, I had
Oh.
my hand, like half my hand cut out. Basically, a dog bit through and ripped it off
hmm
2 years ago. So I'm
This was in
relearning-
'85, so
I'm
I've been
relearning
adapting
that.
ever since. You know,
Yeah.
but my fingers, I haven't played a guitar in a while, so I'm just getting my fingers back in action.
I don't want to bore anyone else, but you can relate to what I've gone through. Do you have any nerve damage? And if you do, how high does it go up?
No, actually, my nerves are fine on my hand. When this happened, this was on 1985. Microsurgery was fringe.
Okay, yeah.
They did a nerve graft right here,
Okay.
and then they did a vein graft off my wrist and skin grafts and a couple of vein grafts off my foot to try to save it too.
Yeah.
They had my armpit in a cast, up to my armpit in a cast, rods and pins and everything. And I ended up learning how to build the Blue Thunder helicopter with one hand.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, when you have no option, have you ever seen the guy, the artist? He was severely paralyzed. He can only use one finger.
yeah.
So he uses a typewriter to draw pictures. And it's a series of all the letters and symbols from a typewriter over top of each other. But you look at it, from about a foot away, and it looks like a highly detailed pen drawing. And they're like, how the hell did you come up with that? And he goes, I sat there for years just working on getting, because he was an artist, getting my actual skill physically back that I had up here still.
Wow.
Because it's really the artist's eye.
Exactly.
So Keith, let me ask you this. But as a player, and it being 1985, as a player, has that gotten in your way? I don't think it has.
No, because it only took one part. Okay,
Yeah.
it didn't take this part and it didn't take this hand.
Hey, Keith, you know what? I'm thinking about it now too. If anybody said to me, "You're going to lose one finger,"
I know what you're going to say.
one finger in
Exactly.
your hand. Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna- I didn't want to
Whoa.
Other
What were
than
you gonna
this,
say?
if somebody said you're going to lose one finger in your hand, which one do you want to go? Other than not being able to do this, that would be the one I'd want to lose as a guitar player, because you know what?
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's, you can get around. Eric Clapton only plays with these two, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you know what? I mean, listen, as bad as it is, hey, you know what? That's an opportunity you could still play, dude.
You are
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
You
And
are.
I still have the jam and the soul, and I just let it rip,
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
And when I plug in, yeah, I hear it. I hear the difference, but I adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent, dude.
But you know what? It's weird. It's no different than someone who's my height playing against someone who's 6'4" in basketball. I just have to
Right.
adapt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still going to
Yeah.
be terrible, but
Here's what I basically find myself doing: using the fuzzy nub, which is what it is.
Mhm.
I use that for like my top two strings.
what's up, Jeff K?
Right.
So, if there are any other adjustments that I have to do, I still have like two. Oh, I'm better than Eddie because I have two extra fingers above that top two section.
Yeah.
But up here, I have to work my thumb a lot more and my index.
Mm.
And then,
Interesting.
the ring finger always flies over.
Are you compensating with your thumb now? Over the top?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
doing that over
Yeah.
the top?
I
Interesting.
always work the bottom two with my thumb.
Excellent.
Now, are you putting it over the top, or are you talking about putting your whole hand up front like Jakey Lee?
Yeah, both.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't
I'm
do
all
it.
over the place. Yeah, it's like a
There's
freaking
carpal tunnel through here.
Picasso painting. My performance.
That's cool, Keith.
Yeah, I always find that fascinating how people like adapt to stuff like that. I was watching the guy like Def Leppard, the drummer. I'm like, how does he do it? I had to sit. I sat there and I studied it. I figured out what he's doing. And you know what? After I figured it out, I go, that's actually pretty simple the way he's got it.
Exactly.
The left foot
Yeah.
is just a snare drum pad, electronic snare. So he's using the right foot for the kick and the left foot for the snare, and he's using the one arm for the cymbals and the hi-hat. That makes a lot of sense. When you watch him, he's and then he has another snare pad that he can do with his left foot and his one good arm. He can do like on the snare, like a little bit of a whatever, a little roll or whatever on
Raise your hand for who doesn't do that in their car.
Yeah,
because I always use my left foot as a snare in the car.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
Excellent.
so it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff K's in the chat, guys.
He
Good to see
didn't
you,
want to
Jeff.
quit.
Hey, let me say to everybody in the chat, thank you all. Great friends. Love you all.
That's a good
Yeah, and while we're at it, it was really nice meeting Jeff K and Dan in New Jersey and Christopher Sauer the other night. It was cool to see their faces and meet them as people,
Sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And
it was really fun.
Hey, probably
Oh,
walnuts.
that was Keith H as well. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Nice meeting all you guys, man. That was
That was
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll have to get Taylor into the.
Yeah, I want to meet Taylor.
She will.
She's never come in any old night, Charles.
She's going to. She will.
yeah.
If she's your
That
daughter,
was a lot of
you already know
fun.
she's cool.
Yeah.
She's all right, guys.
I don't have that
Love that
card in
girl.
here
Love that
anymore,
girl.
but yeah, that was a lot of fun to have those those winners in backstage, and we had a grand time. I had to sleep late the next day. Goodness.
Now when I like
I
see
agree
their
with you.
comments, I picture their faces, which I couldn't do before. It's kind of
I do the same thing. As soon
like
as
you
I
think
read,
of them as a person now, you know.
yeah,
That's
as soon as
right.
I read like Dan, I immediately see like
I see his
almost like
face, yeah.
I see his
Same with
face.
Chris Sawa
Yep.
Yep. And I
Right.
see his face.
and Jeff K too.
Yeah.
I guess Keith H isn't here tonight, but now it's like different. Now when I see their comments, I see their faces.
And I think it really does personalize things more when you can see someone face to face at least once.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So
very cool.
I know.
we're
What?
going.
Remember back in the day with the mailing list? When were
Mhm.
the only times that we would meet up, right?
Yeah.
At the
concerts
shows,
or
yeah.
during a con, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Now we
Yeah.
get this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much easier. You don't have to go to Vegas for this, right?
I forgot to buy my
Yeah.
Powerball ticket. Apparently, it went up over $500 million.
Oh.
Pooh.
I know something
Like
happened
50.
along the way to Vegas.
You can actually get on and do it online, at least in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I got that app, Jack Pocket, it's called.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, you can do it online.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to pay. No, no, not to offend anyone in the audience or on the panel. This is just a joke. My dad used to say this, but I didn't feel like paying my idiot tax today.
So let's turn the corner here a little bit. Now, John brought something to our attention that I wanna get on. So, well, what were you telling us, John?
So Valerie Bertinelli has a book coming out on, I think, the 17th of this month. And they're starting to release excerpts from it. And there's some Eddie excerpts that were released today. And it's pretty interesting stuff. I'm just going to read this to you guys. You can listen to it. Valerie Bertinelli says ex Eddie Van Halen told her he messed up their marriage before his death. Valerie Bertinelli says ex-husband Eddie Van Halen was her soulmate, and while they were married to other people at the time of his October 2020 death, the love between them was there until the very end. In an excerpt of the Kids Baking Championship host's new book, Enough Already, Learning to Love the Way I Am Today, obtained by People magazine, she shares the last words Eddie said to her and their 30-year-old son Wolfgang before he succumbed to cancer at the age of 65. Bertinelli, 61, also details the heart-to-heart they had 1 year before his death as their second marriages struggled, in which the Van Halen guitarist told her he messed up during their marriage and presented her a special gift. I love you are the last words Ed said to Wolf and me, she wrote. They are the last words we said to him before he stops breathing. Bertinelli, who married Van Halen in 1981 but separated in 2001 before divorcing in 2007, said in the Rockers' final weeks, she and Wolfie spent every day at the hospital along with Eddie's second wife, Janie, and his brother, Alex Van Halen. Maybe next time we'll get it right, she also said to him through tears before he died. Bertinelli detailed their complicated love story, which began when the seemingly good girl fell for the bad boy rock star after meeting him backstage at one of his concerts. We were portrayed as a mismatch, she said. The bad boy rock star and America's sweetheart, but privately, Ed wasn't the person people thought he was, and neither was I. She was just 20 when they said I do. Let's see. I hated the drug. She said, I hated the drugs and alcohol, but I never hated him. I saw his pain. They separated in 2001 and divorced in 2007. Both Van Halen and Bertinelli found love again. In 2008, Eddie became engaged to his publicist, Janie, an actress, stunt woman, and dancer, and they married the next year. Bertinelli dated financial planner Tom Vitale, and they were married in 2011. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's see. Despite moving on, I loved Ed more than I know how to explain. I loved his soul. She recalled how on Thanksgiving Day, 2019, Eddie came to her house and asked to speak to her privately. He presented her with a small bag with a pendant-sized gold bar inside that he purchased in Germany. I read another article said they went into a car, or somebody's car, just him and her, and he presented her with a small bag with a pendant-sized gold bar inside that he purchased in Germany, where he'd been going to get his lung and throat cancer treatments. I hope you don't think it's weird, that I bought my ex-wife this gift and didn't get my wife anything. She recalled him telling her through tears, I just love you. Of that intimate conversation, Bertinelli wrote, he wants me to know he messed up during our marriage. I contributed to our troubles too, and I am also sorry. She revealed that both of their marriages were struggling at that point. They didn't act upon anything, but there were definitely feelings. There is no chance we are going to get back together, but I do know if one of us were to open up, the other one would too, and I don't want to get into that, she wrote. Who really knows had he not died? I doubt it, she wrote. I loved him more than I know how to explain, and there's nothing sexual about it. It was more than that, and Ed and I understood that. She added, there is no greater love than what we had between the two of us. With that, we made this beautiful son. So in November, 1 year after Eddie's death, she filed for separation. He said that had nothing to do with her separation now, but I don't know. It sounds like, these two were eventually going to, if he had lived.
John, it was interesting you brought that up because like about a year after his death, she did file for divorce.
Yeah. She said in the end of this article that had nothing to do with it. But I mean, you could read between the lines. What she was basically saying there is that, if had he lived, who knows what would have happened there? You know what I mean?
Was he officially divorced from Janie or just separate? Because I heard they weren't together at the end. Right?
Yeah, I think they were just. I think it was an amicable thing. I think both of them were good with each other. She was there when he died, but I just don't think that they were, maybe they just
a couple anymore, right?
Maybe
people said they were no longer a couple.
Right. Maybe they weren't. Yeah, I don't think they were feeling it anymore, the whole marriage thing. And it was probably, maybe it was a mutual thing too. I don't think it was just him.
Right.
But I think they were just, she was there when he passed away. So obviously we're still very close. So, but kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. Amazing story, John. Thanks for sharing with us.
That's excellent.
That just came out.
Excellent. It's interesting the way you read it. I'm guessing that's verbatim out of the book. It's an excerpt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what? It sounds like she's being very candid and giving it from her point of view.
Yeah, she always seems to do that,
Really dying to read some more.
From now on,
it's almost as if at the end they realized their mistake.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Both of them did. I think they did. Yeah.
Too late.
She did say in one of the other excerpts that I saw that she feels bad that when he got sick that she wasn't there even more, but because they were married to different people, when he got sick, I guess it was a little bit uncomfortable. But she said maybe she feels a little guilty that she wasn't there more for him when he got sick. So
there might be a little of a guilt in that.
Yeah, I think there was for that. But I mean, listen, they were married to other people, but it would
look weird.
Yeah, you could read between the lines there, but it just seemed like that. She was the one and he was the one for her. So,
I think when you're facing death and there's nothing left, I think everything kind of gets stripped away and you don't really care or it doesn't matter if you're married to this person or this person's married to that person. And like she said, it's not a sexual thing at all. It's that you really just truly love that person.
Yeah, like soulmates.
Maybe upon looking back on his life, the shorter relationship didn't seem as significant as you know what I mean?
Yeah,
as the one he had spent most of his life with and had a child with.
Yeah, well, who knew him better than her, and who knew her better than him after so many years,
And Tom and Janie could never compete with that ever.
Yeah, I'm sure
they tried, but they actually helped each other during that transitional period. They were there for them.
You know what? And I'm sure Valerie would even say Janie played an important role in his life. She really did. And so, I mean,
without Janie or Wolfgang, we would not have.
He may not have made it back.
CDs and 3 more tours.
Well, yeah, he may have been dead, or he may not have made it back from that bad period either.
Yeah, back in 2004 or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think without Wolfgang alone, you just take Wolfgang out of the equation, I don't think you would have made it.
Right, but Janie probably played a pretty good
I think she was a huge part of that. Brad Talinsky or Chris Gill, I think it was Chris Gill, alluded to that about how important
they got into it.
Yeah.
She was like a taskmaster. She made sure crack the whip, and she made sure. Apparently, we don't know.
Right.
Apparently, that she kept him on the straight and narrow.
Whatever happened near the end, it was most certainly amicable.
Holly.
So Yeah.
She's a very
Yeah.
positive and she's a very positive and disciplined person.
Right.
You know, what I do.
Extremely disciplined. She used to be a stunt woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think she played a huge part in the
but
later years of his life.
when me and my ex are really close and have been apart longer than we were married. But when you know somebody that long and there's that much history and you have kids together, maybe grandkids, it's,
Hmm.
of course.
It's hard to shake that bond, TK.
Yeah, right. So
Valerie even said that
always-
when if Ed was alive and Wolfgang seeing all his success, she said he would have been driving over to my house and can you believe this? And I would have been driving to his house. Can you believe this? So
he'd be
I
on
bet
the
you
road
Ed
with.
would have been on the tour.
Yeah,
Just like
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
He'd be
without
right
a
there
doubt.
on the road watching.
Ed was
the
his
show from the
biggest fan.
sidelines.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I
If
can
he
see
was
Ed-
healthy, he'd be out there performing
I
with them
can see
too.
Ed getting on stage
Probably,
and be
you're
like,
right.
"Dad, what do you want to do? One of your songs?" No, man, Wolf, let's do one of your tunes, man.
Yeah, that's what he would do.
I think that would, I just want to
Mhm.
solo over one of your tunes, or
Right.
Which brings me to the next topic, fellas. So Ed would have been on tour with Wolfgang. We know Wolfgang is supposed to be going on tour with Dirty Honey, but the Grammys were canceled today. So I don't know if you guys heard that.
Oh, you mean the public
point
event
to
itself?
Holly,
I don't know. I just heard the Grammys were canceled. So I don't know if they're not holding them. I don't know how what they're going to do.
The
So
live, they have to
Excuse
at
me.
least hand them out, or
they may do it on
award
some
them.
online thing. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I know Wolfgang was going to go to the Grammys this year, but that's not going to happen. So now the next thing is how is all this going to start affecting more shows? Obviously, David Lee Roth affected him.
Right.
And I got
Right.
Dirty Honey on the 1st of March.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but the tour itself starts in about 2
Right,
weeks
and
or so, doesn't it?
You guys have
You're
the
seeing
first
it.
show,
back
right?
When's your date, Ben? The 18th?
18th,
Yeah,
We're
that's
about
when
a
it
month
starts,
out.
right?
We're a month out on the show.
13 days.
All right. So
It's two weeks.
this
2 weeks
this
and
right
change.
here is
No,
not
little less than
the
2 weeks.
this right here is not the amended version, but this tour starts on the 18th, which is on a Tuesday week. Tom is going, it's in his hometown. He's going to his local venue to see opening night.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Bless you,
So,
Tom.
bless you.
Thank you. Terrible
Yeah.
allergies.
And a lot of us are going to see.
Let us pray and
This
hope that it
tour.
actually happens.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Probably most of it will,
Mm.
if not all of it.
I think it's going to depend on the area. Look at Vegas now. What other areas is my area? Our show is 1 month from today. Today's the 5th. So is it going to be my area? Is it going to be other areas? I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be by area. But I hope things just get much better and we don't have to worry about this. But yeah, it is what it is. Dave, the Mandalay Bay scratched all of it. So,
We should also look at, though, the possibility if other casinos and venues are
I was gonna
closing
say that.
down
I
and
was gonna
shutting down
ask if
stuff
the
in
whole strip
Vegas
is
as
gonna
well.
shut down. Yeah.
I bet, I'm sure people that higher up speak to each other in all these different casinos, and
Absolutely.
so I'm sure we're going to see more of that kind of stuff. The only good thing I think is that this variant, it's not as bad as the Delta, they say, and people don't seem to be dying as much from this one as from the Delta. And I do feel like winter, obviously with the flu, that's when people get it, in the more. And I'm hoping that in the springtime that shows are going to start to, we're going to start to have a better grip on it now than we did a year ago with all this stuff. So that I'm hoping that it doesn't really kill the summer concert season and the late spring and summer. I kind of think it won't. I kind of think we're going to bounce back, but I just feel like the February, March, April and into May, I think those shows are going to be more affected. I think the summer will be pretty strong. That's what, at least I hope so.
Yeah, the only downside of the Wolfgang tour is it's a January-February tour.
Right, exactly. That's the only.
Which a few months ago didn't look like any big deal, but now.
And March.
Oh, it's in March too?
Yeah, I'm going to the March 1st show, but it also extends into, I think, mid-March after that.
Okay.
Let's keep our fingers crossed that,
Now in April they head for Europe. Is that correct?
this goes down.
Mm-hmm. They start Scorpions.
Yeah, that's in June.
Oh, that's in June. Okay.
Yeah, he's in Europe in June. There's a rumor that he's going to open the Foo Fighters tour this summer, the stadium tour.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Because he already spoke out that he wants it, so he's probably in with those guys.
He said that would be the dream. That would.
Yeah,
be the
he
dream.
wants that, so I bet he'll get that.
That would be so killer.
do you think he set up the entire kitchen sink lineups? I think so.
He might have had a say in it, sure.
I think so.
might have.
Yeah.
I think that was an
yeah.
Irving Azoff adventure too, though. So
I think it was
was
a
booked by
Wolfgang. I think Wolf, yeah. And his dad was like, okay. And then they went to
And Al.
Azoff.
Al had a lot more voice in it than a lot of people think.
Well,
he did an
yeah.
interview
I'm
with
sure
Eddie
he probably
Trunk
would
the
have
other
ran it
day.
past Al and then said, Dad, we're going to do this. You okay with it?
Maybe.
He did an interview with Eddie Trunk the other day with the lead singer of Dirty Honey.
Yeah.
He had to kind of roll back his words because he said, as long as you see me, you will never see a Van Halen song. And then when the lead singer of Dirty Honey called him out on that and said, what if we had you in our set and did a Van Halen song? He said, all right, let me rephrase that. I will never play a Van Halen song in a Wolfgang set. That's never going to happen.
Interesting.
But with the Dirty Honey, he said he would play drums.
There
He
we
wouldn't
go.
play guitar
That'd be
or
cool.
sing.
That would be cool.
Because Dirty
Oh.
Honey used to do Van Halen covers, and they said, what if we have you on our set?
I hope they pick something obscure. That'd be cool.
He said, I would do it, but I would play drums.
And he's got the pipes for it, too.
Right, he'd have to do backing vocals because Dirty Honey explained that they don't really have good backing vocals, and they would need him to do that. But he said he would play drums, not guitar. He said, so going forward, here's the deal with all you Van Halen fans who want to see me play Van Halen. It'll never happen in a Wolfgang set. He said if Guns had wanted to do Running with the Devil, that's a different story, but never on my stage.
I'm fine with that. I only want to hear his
Yeah.
own music. You know,
I can respect that
Right.
completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he told the reasons why, and they made sense. He wants
Yeah.
to distance himself
Regardless-
from that, and he wants his own thing. And he gave his
Right.
father his word he would never play his material.
Well, that's probably a big part of it too. But I think
That's all that matters then.
And
regardless,
he also
of-
said he doesn't want to look like he's using that as a crutch. He wants to be an artist in his own right, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think naturally the kind of guy he is, he would do his own music anyway. You know, I mean,
Well, you know what? He's a lot like his father. His father never wanted to play cover songs, and Wolfgang doesn't want to play cover songs either. Van Halen.
Well, you
was
say
that
that,
long.
John, but Van Halen recorded cover musics on their records. Not that I'm
Right.
saying that
Yeah.
counteracts his Wolfgang's argument. He has a right
Right.
to feel the way he does. But Van Halen put a lot of covers
I
on
know,
their
but
records.
I
I mean,
don't
Dive
think
It Down was almost all covers.
I think
But-
that's when.
but
that's when
anybody-
Eddie took control is after Diver Down. He said, "That's it. I'm done." That's why he built.
How many covers did they put out when they built 5150?
Yeah.
None, right?
No, they did Apolitical Blues, right? That was
Oh.
the only,
That's the only one.
it's the only one.
And that's what, Cream?
Little Feet.
No, Little Feet.
Oh, okay.
George
Yeah.
Lowell.
Don Landy, I think, recorded the original album.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's on OU812.
Right.
It's not on the
That's
album.
a book I want to hear.
A B-side.
Don
Oh, he
Landy's
held it as a
book.
B-side?
I think it's a B. Yeah, it's not on the record, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was on the
Yeah.
B-side of Black and Blue, the single for Black and Blue. The
Oh, okay.
45.
Right, the 45 had it on the backside, and then the newer CDs, the re-releases, they have it on
there.
the CD as well. But the original print of the CDs, they
Original
did not have it.
Yeah. And they
Wonder if
recorded
the vinyl
that the
problem-
same way Landy recorded the original one too. I think there was like one mic above the drums, and it was like you can hear it. It was just very
Yeah. So raw.
How come they've never remixed OU812? It's the worst
Well,
Van Halen
remixed.
I've
It
ever
needs
heard.
to be remixed and remastered. They all the Sammy era. I think Eddie was angry with Sammy, and he didn't. He was like, well, I think it was in a way. I think in a twisted way, I think he was trying to punish Sammy a little bit because they actually remastered all the Roth albums. You know
What, by sucking the middle out of the sound? That's how he's punishing him?
Well, I just don't. You know, if you listen to the Sammy ones, if you're in the car and you're listening to like an Apple
It's
Music,
hollow.
they're just so lower. You know, because the mastering was so much
Hollow
different back then.
sounding.
So right. So I really do think that was kind of a you know, screw you to Sammy. It's like we're not going to remaster them, but I think it will happen now. But the problem is, like you said, OU812 needs to be remixed and remastered, because the there's no, obviously we know there's no bass on the album at all. It's, you know, so
Yeah, right there with the Injustice for All.
yeah, I think that was probably the worst sounding of the Sammy era, that out, just the sound, because they tried to do the drum, you know, acoustic drums in the small, you know, room that they had at the time. And I mean, it could have sounded worse, but
live, it was insane. It was so great live.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a show yesterday. You guys should take a look on YouTube. It's from October 11th, 88 at Madison Square Garden.
I was at that show.
Yeah, so was I. And
he was wearing that. Is that the one with the red sweater?
That was he was wearing a yellow shirt, I think.
Oh, the yellow shirt.
Yeah. And when they did Finish What You Started, Eddie actually played I think it was the 57 Strat that he played on the album. He actually had the Strat with him there. And it's the only time I ever saw Eddie playing a Strat live.
That was the only time he pulled that out.
He took that Strat on tour.
Yeah, exactly. It was that, and so you'll see it in that video there, because I remember it that night distinctly. And then that was the night that the guy from Trickster jumped up on the stage. They did Rock and Roll by Zeppelin as an encore.
Brown.
Yeah,
and he got up and he reached behind Eddie, and Eddie let him tap the part out, I guess. And that was before he was famous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Eddie kind of just lifted his arms and and he was going like, you know. So that was
cool.
At the same show. So that's on YouTube. And it's not horrible for bootleg, so you guys should check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I met Steve Brown one time. We sat down at after he was performing at a place down the shore, and I'm like, loving your guitar. You know, he had a gold top Peavey, and he was like, showing it off to me, and picked it up, and then we started talking about Eddie for 2 hours.
Yeah, I know he's a big Eddie guy.
Huge Eddie guy.
And you know what? I never cared for the band Trickster at all. I just didn't like it at all. But he can really play, man.
Oh, Steve Brown's a great player.
Now he can play,
and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, and you know what? His years in Def Leppard filling in for Vivian Campbell and Phil Collin have rubbed off, because he's got that band Tokyo Motor Fist, and there's a song called Young Blood. If you ever get to listen to it, it's very Def Leppardish. The chorus is just like it's infectious. Let's put it that way. I think I listened to that thing over and over like 100 times, that song, when it came out. I was like, it's very Def Leppard. It was very
rock.
Yeah, you got to hear it. It's really good.
Yeah, you could hear the influence.
Yeah, and he apparently he knew Eddie pretty well too. So
yeah, they had a real tight relationship. Later on.
Yeah, so
and that was the first time.
But he can play for real. I mean. Yeah.
He is a EBH guy too.
He is.
We got to get him on.
Yeah, that'd be great if he could get him. That'd be really good. But he also I saw him playing one of Adam Reaver's FU tone guitars too.
Yep.
Which are beautiful guitars. Beautiful guitars.
Yeah. Yes, they
really
are.
Yep. Shout out to Adam and his guitars. Yep.
Yeah, I took a look at those. They look really nice. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how he's doing them for that price, because
I'm telling you, the necks are so nice on those guitars. Really beautiful guitars.
Did you play one of them up at the EVH con?
Yeah, I did.
What kind of wood is on the bottom?
What does the neck feel like?
The necks, they have like really no, like a light finish on it. They're just, I mean, they're not too like thick. They're just perfect. The necks
are like a sandblasted kind of like thin finish where you can see the grain.
Yeah, they're not too different, I don't think, than the EVH, but I think they even had a little less finish than the EVH. You know, EVH are just rubbed on here. They were very kind of raw feeling to me, I thought, and they just it was really nice. Felt great. The guitar felt really good.
Yeah.
So, but you know, for the price that he's selling them for, you know, people, you're getting a guitar like that, a Charvel name on it or anything would be a lot more money than that guitar there. And that guitar is
that's the ultimate hot rod right there.
You got it. That's a hot rod, and it's as good as or better than any Charvel out there. And the bang for the buck you get, and it's like I would definitely buy that guitar over a Charvel. So,
and it's already got all the FU tone upgrades.
It's exactly
and the Tessie switch.
Yeah, right. And it's and so you don't have to do anything to that guitar. You know, we all buy guitars. You know, we got to, you know, put the whatever titanium and stuff like that on it. We all have the FU titanium stuff on it. But that guitar, you don't have to do anything. Like you said, Keith, it's already, it comes that way. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely FU tone, man. Great stuff.
What are the bodies though? What are they using? They using basswood?
I'm not sure if it's basswood or not. I'll find out though. Maybe I can find out right now. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll
He's overclipped.
If I can get Joe.
I would say most likely basswood, and if not alder. But at that price point, I would guess that he's probably right. At least dollar wise, it would seem like they'd have to use basswood, but maybe not.
Best bang for the buck.
Yeah, Holly, it wasn't an interview I read. It was a serious interview with Eddie Trunk. I don't have serious. Just look for it on YouTube. Say Eddie Trunk, Wolfgang interview. It popped up in the last day or two. It was basically Wolfgang with the lead singer of Dirty Honey, and they were promoting their tour coming up. So they get uploaded within the last day or two. So just search for that on YouTube and you'll find it. Yeah. It's real good.
And
I've read the print
tour,
on that.
That
tour
starts.
I haven't watched the video on it yet, though.
They did a print article too?
I've read the article, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That tour just starts like in 2 weeks.
Said, the same article. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You gonna do the trivia?
Who wants $1 million?
$1 million.
$1
million.
Everybody wants some.
A nice little note.
You want some too.
$1 million Van Halen dollars.
Who wants $1 million?
Scarf right here.
All right. So I've shown one person on this panel this question. Right on.
I got mine. Everybody, show us your dollars.
Everybody wants some. Keith wants some.
I got some too. How about you?
Yeah, there you go.
So I think I'm gonna get all you guys on the trivia question for tonight. I think I'm gonna be the winner.
Tony, if I do win this, I will donate it to somebody else.
You're not.
Oh,
eligible.
I'm not allowed.
You are.
I'm exempt.
You are exempt.
That's the curse, brother.
You are exempt.
Yep. Once you join the show, there's no more winning, Keith. So you have to weigh those options out.
That's what I said. The Keith is not going to be our winner for tonight.
Level the playing field.
So it's like everybody's not playing for second, but you have won a couple of times.
3 or 4.
You got a real good track record.
I gotta get some Caltatines.
Him and Christopher Live Sour.
How much money have I made for you, kid?
What's that?
How much money have I made for you betting on me?
I always got my money on you or Christopher Live Sour or Dana, New Jersey sneaks in
Where's
there.
your money tonight?
Holly Lewis.
Paulie, good choice.
Nah, he's not.
Hey,
Gonna.
the Dreamer's Life in the chat, guys.
Hey, what's up, Dreamers Life?
Dreamer.
See
Hey,
you, bro.
Will. All right. So all you kids, we are gonna give away $1 million Van Halen dollars. With some fun trivia. I don't think anybody's gonna get this tonight. I don't think so, Tommy.
No, I don't.
He knows the question, or
If
he
Keith was
knows
in
the
the chat,
answer,
then maybe.
and he's already given too many hints
I think-
earlier.
I think Keith would get it. I think John would get it. I think Charles would get it. I think Analog Kid.
All right, you four, don't
Yeah, you
don't
know.
blurt it out. Let's
I don't even know
get
what
a
the question
winner. I know none of you do. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm not saying anything else about it.
Lately, T-Cake's been up in the level, though. He's been making him tough lately.
Maybe I should mute
Real
my mic
deal.
right now.
All right, so all right. This
Analog Kid
question, if you are the winner here, there's an email down below. Trivia winners email. Email me your name and address. I'll mail you $1 million Van Halen dollars that look like that. Disclaimer.
Best haircut ever. Total poodle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Right.
Gotta love the serial number on it too.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna get all you guys. Let's go ahead and run this. All right. So this question tonight, kids, involves, it's been there all night long, the album Women and Children First, Tommy's
Nice.
favorite Van Halen album.
Let us be the women and children.
Women
Tommy,
and
you knew the
Children
answer?
First.
No,
He
I
knows.
froze. I couldn't. I was literally like.
It's your record and you still don't know it?
All right.
It was a bad moment.
We're giving them too many hints. All right. Let's get into this. All right. So, kids, good luck. Type quickly.
Good luck, you guys.
This is a
Good luck to everybody.
two-part question. I need both parts in one, not one now and one later. I need them both together. Two-part question about women and children first. Good luck, kids, to you. Name both of the instrumentals off of Women and Children First. Name
Okay,
both
you
of
know
them. Come on now. Don't blurt it out. All right. Name both the
Tommy, I do know it, though.
instrumentals.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
I know them.
I thought you guys would. I thought all
Both
you
of
guys
them.
would.
Both.
Yeah,
All right.
both of them.
I know.
No hints for the
blanked.
kids. No hints for the kids.
John knows him.
I blanked like stage fright. Like I couldn't think of any songs on the album. Like that's hasn't happened to me.
It's a little tricky.
Literally.
A little tricky.
I'm
Like I
depending.
was blanked. I couldn't come up with any song.
All right. You guys are telling them too much.
Holly's
All right.
close. She's close.
Holly's close, yeah.
She's right on it.
All right. So you guys will think about this for a while. You guys keep an eye on it, and we will move along because I don't think you guys are kind of sort of close, but you guys are still guessing, and ultimately
Alder bodies, guys, for the FU tone guitars. Alder.
Thank you,
WD
John.
5150.
Maple necks and a choice of maple or ebony fingerboards, and they are loaded, like Keith, like you're saying. That was the idea behind those guitars. Is you don't have to do anything to them. Every feature is on them.
Right there.
And all
There
that
it
keeps the
is.
weight down
I
too.
see something.
Awesome job.
WD 5150.
Dude,
Congratulations, you did it, dude.
All right.
Tore
All
it.
right.
I think
congratulations.
we all knew
man.
that, but growth, at the end of Simple Rock.
All right, at the end of Simple Rhyme.
Tora, and growth.
Yeah, and growth was they used that to kick off a lot of their encores through various tours along the.
I've been watching.
They used it all the way through the 2015 tour.
I've been watching a lot of 83, 84 tour live. Love those, man.
That was a great question, Tony. Good
Very
question,
good
That's a
man.
great question. That was a banger. One of my co-workers today, we were talking to the kids that we work with, and he's like, all right, I want you to come up with like good questions that, like, when they take attendance now, so it's not boring for kids, they'll ask them a question like, all right, favorite type of cheese on your cheeseburger, or something like that. Just any.
WD 5150. Thank you, bro.
So they were telling them to
Thanks for
write
being
banger
here.
questions down.
Cool,
That
Tony.
banger something.
Good deal, guys.
Yeah.
Colby and mozzarella.
That's the built-in chorus, John. After about
What's
a
that?
second and a half, YouTube gives you that built-in chorus after about 2 or 3 seconds.
We'll chunk in a couple of these things too for you. Thanks for being here. And thanks for playing. Thanks to everybody for
rock.
playing along.
Absolutely. You guys rock.
So next week, I think I have to make it harder.
That was a hard one.
But it was, you guys got it.
We're gonna go
You
deep
got
in
it
the
quick.
paint.
That was a good one.
But we went kind of deep. But yeah,
That
you
one had a
guys,
curveball.
Deep in the paint.
you guys know your Van Halen though.
Who's
that's
WD 5150? We never met him before, have we?
Walt Disney. Oh no, he already passed away. It couldn't be Walt Disney. Hey, Janice. William Devers, 5150. I'm not sure.
Hey, Janice.
I've never
Oh,
seen
you
that.
had it.
Seen
Oh, you
WD
had the
5150
Tora
before, man.
Tora. You
I
had
have
the
it
In a
too.
Simple Rhyme, but it had to be the part after In a Simple Rhyme.
That's right.
That's right.
She was so close.
Hey, Janice.
But technically, he did have the title right.
Right,
Because
but
growth was now the title on the album cover.
right. It's
Well,
untitled. They don't write
It's
it.
a hidden track, yeah.
Right.
It was only known about that. They were actually, what was the other name that they were going to name it though? Tank.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but their intention was to fade out with that song and pick up on Fair Warning, but it never happened. But it's interesting too that growth on the album and the cassette, it fades out at the end of it, but on the
combo
CD,
cassette.
it ends on a beat.
Also on the combo cassette too.
The one that
had,
has women and
a double
children
cassette
with
that
what?
had
Fair warning?
Women and children first on one side and then Fair Warning on the other.
Okay.
And it ended like that on the Women and Children first side as well.
Yeah.
I first had it on cassette before vinyl, and I don't remember that piece being on the cassette.
Yeah, it was on the cassette.
The original
on the
cassette?
LP as well. But yeah. They just faded it out though on the cassette, the initial prints.
I
But
like
on the
the
double
old-
cassette, they had it was cut. Boom.
I like
In
the
the tea
fade.
cake, you know really well the set list, didn't it? At one point, they stick it in there somewhere.
They used that. They used that for many tours to kick off their encore. A lot.
Right.
Right.
During the '82
so-
Diver Down tour, they did it.
whether whether the encore song was "Ain't Talking About Love" or "You Really Got Me," whatever.
Bottoms Up was what they
They
usually followed up
they
with
would
it, though.
come back out on stage and play "Growth."
Just the small bit that's on the record,
Just
that
the
very
small,
section,
yes, just
and
the
then
small.
go right into the song, whatever the
Yes,
song is.
that's right.
Right.
Cool.
And you could probably see the best example of that in the Largo video from '82.
And
Well, everything
'84
from
too.
82.
They everything
did
from
it like that.
'84 too.
Ed
Yeah.
Jubril was there.
I was at that show, Ed, and I do not remember that. That was on 5150, but I'll go with you. I'm cool. That's cool. They played it.
We're
What
gonna
song
go-
did they play it before? I was at that gig.
So Ed, nice to see you here, sir. And that reminds me, Ed gave me some info about a neon light that is not here yet, but we'll see how it's gonna if it'll be behind me or whatever. But very cool. So thank you, Ed.
Best of both worlds, John.
Are you playing the 61 Strat?
Nope. I wish.
What are you playing on, John?
USA, baby.
There you go, baby.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Right on.
It brings me back to coming home from school every day and watching that. I wore out my VHS cassette like in 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Every day, like at least once, you know, after school.
Yeah, I went through 2 of those. Good. Every night. It seemed like after I go home from the bars, I just like automatically pop that one in.
Excellent.
Right on. Yeah, it is a good one. It is.
Funny thing, the funny thing
week,
about that one guitar though, when that 61 Strat, when he did that, he bought that from who? Dan Anderson.
Wasn't that the guy from St. Louis Music? The guy that
Right.
died, Dan
Right.
something or other, right?
Yeah.
The guy that sold him the.
You guys bought it, signed it off, and then automatically grabbed the screwdriver and carved 5150 right into it.
Destroyed it right in front of the guy.
And Dan was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Hey, it's mine now."
You ever hear the story about the Flying V, the V that he used on 1984? That's an original. It's like one of the first 12 Flying Vs ever made, that one.
Yeah.
And I know Eddie did tell Brad and Chris that he did sell it like in around 2011. He sold that in his Les Pauls because he said he never played it and it was worth an insane amount of money. So he sold it. And but
the V's worth more than a burst.
Yeah, absolutely. And
but apparently $600,000-700,000 for the V, probably closer to $1 million for a good one.
Yeah, and the
celebrity. I mean, just if it was just one of those Karina V's.
But the way the guy came about getting the V, I mean, from some family, it was a kind of a sad story. It's basically they ripped off some guy. It was his grandfather's guitar, and it was under the bed in its original case, and he kind of coerced them into selling it, and and basically they feel like I think they got ripped off. Really, I mean, there's a whole story around it, but it was kind of like, kind of, but
kind of skeevy.
Yeah, it was.
Because made some beautiful music.
Yeah,
and I always wondered because I never got to go see the Frank at the Met. Did you go, John?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
And I didn't find out until like a couple of weeks later, because because I was always looking at the shots, and then you see the V behind it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
is that Eddie's V? No, it was Jimmy's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was just a sensory overload because everywhere
Oh
you turned
God,
in the room,
I would have loved to have gotten
it
that.
was
I would
cool
have
the
been.
way they did it because Eddie's guitar was
Give me
facing
some Depends.
facing Jimmy Page's Les Paul, the number one like Led Zeppelin Les Paul, the Les Paul, the one that Page still played. It was facing it, so you had Frankenstein facing that, and then you had Clapton Blackie right here on the other side. It was just like, oh my God! And behind it you had Keith Richards' Telly Macabre, his famous one, and halfway through that exhibit at the Met, it was gone, and it was a blank case. And there was a note in it saying Keith needed the guitar for the tour and he wanted it back, which was so cool.
Ooh,
That was what was the most
that's
amazing thing
badass.
about that
That's excellent.
display, because it wasn't the only one that I was kind of disappointed in was Paul Stanley's Shattered Mirror Iceman.
Yeah, the original Iceman.
It wasn't the original.
Oh, was it the Washburn?
And all of those guitars, that was the whole idea behind that thing. You walked into the part of the museum. The first guitar you see is Chuck Berry's guitar that he played on Johnny Be Good, the actual guitar that's on the recording. It wasn't even in a case. It was sitting there on the sign that said, you play it loud, these big letters. And it was just like sitting there on a stand as you walk in.
Was Les Paul's there?
They had Les Pauls there. They didn't have like anything, I don't remember anything notably like a special one. Yeah. But it was just, that was the whole idea behind that show. And then when I saw the Iceman, I knew it right away. It wasn't like the mirrors were like a little bit bigger. It wasn't the actual original, because apparently the original under the mirrors from the sweat getting under it. You know how mirrors sometimes they lose their,
it all gets yellowed up underneath the cracks.
Right, from him sweating on it, and apparently there's like blood stains on it because and they built him another one, and they used like a Dremel tool to like round off the edges of the glass before they glued it in so it wouldn't cut his hand. But the original one was really like kind of crude, and it just wasn't the original one. So I was kind of disappointed in that. But they had in that room, it was just mind blowing. They had Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar behind where Jimmy Page's was over on that wall, like the guitar, his main guitar. I mean, it was incredible. All in one room. Like they had Clapton's guitar from Cream, the SG that was all psychedelic painted, like the one in Cream that he used. I mean, they had that there. It was just completely mind blowing, that whole thing. I wish they would do something like that again. It was just great. Really, really great. And like I said, we got Brad really to thank for that. His book was the fuse,
Absolutely.
That started that thing going. It's like, it was so great.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Shame can you learn a thing or two from them. My own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
They did it right.
Yeah, absolutely. They did. I mean, I guess Ed wanted his guitar back because he knew he was ill, and he probably wanted to have it, with him, because they, at the one when they moved it to Cleveland, they didn't have the Frankenstein there. They're, the real one anyway. They probably had one of the replica ones, But
also they had the amp set up and everything too, his stage set up with all of his cabinets.
Yeah, and I was talking to Scott Smith, and he was set it up, and they sourced out everything. It's exactly. Scott told me that even I mentioned it before on the show here that like the flanger and stuff, it was like tape over it, gaffer's tape or duct tape or something over it to hold it down onto the board. That's how Eddie
all of that was replica, right?
Yeah, that was all replica, but Scott, everything was exact replica. And Scott said underneath the tape, if you ripped it off, he even had Eddie's correct settings on the pedals and stuff like that. That's how much detail Scott went into it. Said was into it. And even the bomb wasn't the original bomb either, but they had to go find a military, bomb casing so they could rebuild that. What I know
and then put the 2 Echo Voxes in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think 1 or 2 of the cabinets without the Tolex ripped off. I think they were actually Ed's real cabinets from that era. So a couple of them I know were actually real. So, but
then of course the black and white guitar. That's but
yeah, right, exactly. But it was pretty cool when
cool to see that.
What was special about that display is like you walk in there, and you see Eddie's, and you walk around, and the next one over was Jimmy Page. and on like a stand in his part of it was the actual acoustic guitar, that Harmony acoustic guitar they played Stairway to Heaven on. It's the real guitar was right there, plus his like I think the like his telly that he played Dazed and Confused on or whatever. I think that was like in there too. It was so cool, and he had his Marshall heads and all kinds of stuff. That was really an awesome play. And when you're walking out, they had a piece of Jimi Hendrix, the guitar that he set on fire at Monterey Pop, like a chunk of it from here. Like it was just like here and all painted up. I guess Hendrix painted it all up. It was cool. They had that there. They had his guitar from Woodstock, that like off-white Strat that he played at Woodstock. They had that there in a case. It was just endless, the stuff that they had there. It was so cool. It was mind-blowing. It was. Charlie S., you said it. It was mind-blowing for any guitarist to experience. What about Page's gear? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Page was there the opening night. I know he was there for it, and he lent them all his stuff, like whatever I think they wanted. It was all there, you know.
Wow.
It was really, really cool.
So all this legendary stuff, John, was just on a temporary loan just for the public to see, and then it goes back to the respective.
Exactly. And apparently, I don't know if Chris or Brad said it, but Eddie was supposed to be there. He wanted to go to that. But then, you know, I think it might have been Chris and said that, you know, Matt Bruck, he saw Matt Bruck there and he kind of gave him the runaround. Oh, yeah, he couldn't make it. He had something, but we all know why he couldn't make it, you know. Yeah, but he didn't want anybody to know. But, you know, apparently he wanted to be there for the opening of it. So
I have a question that, you know, we could throw a nut out there and everybody could chew on it. Was this around the same time that they wanted him to come out for the EVH Con?
EVH Con 2019 was the one that I knew Eddie knew about it, and
so this all lines up then, doesn't it?
It kind of does. You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
and it just popped in my head right then and there.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Imagine that.
Wow.
You know? But you know, like Chris Gill said, Eddie would have felt comfortable around people like that. You know, talking about guitars and stuff. That's what he loved to talk about. You know, so stuff like that he would have loved. You know, so
everybody up on the stage would have been crapping their pants.
Yeah, imagine that. You know. Yeah.
Like, oh crap! I'm playing in front of Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, things started to take a turn at that time too, because that's when they were started to plan the final, you know, the shows there.
Kitchen Sink Tour.
The Kitchen Sink Tour, but I guess it was just, you know, wasn't meant to be. But just knowing that he knew about the EVH Con was kind of pretty amazing. You know what I mean? That he was aware of it and he was happy about it. So
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
we need to start one out here on the West Coast. Seriously,
you got to come east, man. Come back home, Keith, and for EVH Con.
What if I start setting up camp here and build an EVH Con out here then?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, who we got out here? We got Neil. He'll help, right? We just got to get a good guitar store out here, just like everybody's got out on the East Coast.
Got to come to the original.
The original. I'm going to do a pilgrimage. Trust me on that. I will. Trust me, I will. I'll be hitting the next one.
Yeah, you got to come in. You got to come.
Excellent, brother. Awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's take care of some business before we forget. So you mentioned Neil. Anybody wants a guitar build? If you got an idea, you want to talk to somebody about that idea, this is who you need to talk to. Yeah. Neil's links are in the description. Yeah. And
Cathedral.
For those of you wanting a cigar box guitar, Brendan B. Squared handcrafts these beauties.
Custom.
Hell yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And you can
I like that one Lenny Lou's got.
His links are in the description also. If you guys want any guitar picks made,
Hell yeah.
I know who you can go to, Legend Picks, Greg at Legend Picks. His links are in the description. And he will hook you up. And for those of you and us with tattoos, ink on the body, ink the original essential tattoo care, high grade formulas with organic ingredients to hydrate and protect environment and reef safe. Fight the fade. Yes.
DK, show us your ink. There you go.
Excellent.
Hang on, let me. You should take care of your ink. Yeah,
Nice, brother.
That's beautiful work, man. It's holding up nicely.
that was in June of this past year. Yeah. Show us your Van Halen tattoos. I can't be the only one.
I'm working on a design myself for my own.
I know Rob's got one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His is cool as shit too. Oh, like
Anybody
tiger
else you
rip.
know got one?
Yeah, mine's gonna go right here.
Nice.
That's where my VH fix is.
Right on.
Nice, Keith.
Keith, dude, I'm sure sorry that Roth canceled this run and your trip. You were supposed to see the final show on Saturday the 8th. Yeah. But
Yeah, it sucks for all of us, you know. I mean, but hopefully it will happen. If it doesn't, you know, all I know is I got a chance to see him so many times in my life. Okay.
oh
My
yeah.
first time was in '81. I didn't miss a tour all the way through.
Nice.
Did they refund your flight?
Actually, my flight I got with Southwest, and what they do is they put it into a pool basically, so I could use it for another flight. So I'm planning on making a flight out to the East Coast. Oh, guess where?
New York?
Halen Con. Come on. We
Planet
gotta do a
early.
Halenville Con.
That's awesome, bro. Awesome.
Yeah,
We all might
my
be
family
up
wants me
there
to go
next
down
year.
to Florida too
That's
to
it.
visit them as well. I got sisters down in Florida, so who knows? But either way, I'm gonna
So
be
you just
entire East
basically get
Coast
a
next year.
credit. They basically just give you a credit with the airline, that much money spent on one flight.
Right, and I can apply it to whatever I want, and then, you know, fly wherever.
And then your hotel you just flat out canceled so you don't get charged, right?
I had a deposit down, so they gave me back my deposit.
Oh, okay.
And then with the ticket, you know, they said we're giving full refunds to everybody.
All right.
So just make sure everybody knows that. Also check with your secondary sales as well. Okay, if you bought it from a secondary sales, check your outlets there as well, please.
Hopefully you'll make them up in the spring.
I hope so too. That would be
All
so
right.
badass. I'd fly out there, boom, or I'd just drive out there. I don't care.
So with this cancellation and this said, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. You know, management says they're not gonna reschedule, etc. But what I think's going to happen is when the coast is clear out there and he knows it's clear, he's going to announce another run months from now or maybe next year. But I say, spring, summer, fall of next year. And most likely in Vegas too. So, you may get another shot, Keith. That's my prediction. I think he'll when the coast is clear, he'll do another run probably in Vegas. I don't see him doing anything else
I
or
can only hope and
anywhere
pray.
else. Yeah, I think it'll happen.
I mean, plus on top of everything, and this is, all can be read into left, right, and up and down by everybody. But combined with everything that he said, with the announcement on his retirement date, with objects in the mirror are me, things like that. It makes me worry for him, and I just want him to be healthy. I just hope that he's able to go back out there and do it. Hope nothing refrains him from being able to do it.
Yeah, Keith, it would be good to see him say one final goodbye.
That's all I ask for is just one last show.
Yeah, and Dave, obviously his voice is not what it was when he was younger, and he gets a lot of beef about that,
But that was always his shtick, though, because everybody knew he was going out there 1,000 miles an hour with his hair on fire. Then,
Well, he's aging. Look at him.
Listen,
I mean,
yeah.
should he sing any better than what he does at his age and in his shape?
I think he should. I'll
It's
be honest
par.
with you.
I mean, well, either that or not.
It'll always piss me off that David Lee Roth was always a baritone voice. He wasn't like a tenor like Hagar and all those. Those are the guys that lose their voices. Look at Steve Perry from Journey. He can't sing that stuff anymore. Even the guy that replaced him cannot hit the notes anymore after like 10 or 15 years in that band.
They're saying the new guy has to be replaced.
Yeah, he's gone too. Those guys are tenors. They can't sing that high anymore. David Lee Roth was never a tenor. He was different. He was a baritone. He lived in the basement, man. His voice was down here, man. And at 65, he should still be able to pull it off.
I think he's 67.
67, whatever. He refuses to sing the melodies as they were. If he tried to do it like they were on the album, he's trying to sing like this. No, it's going. Instead of that,
that's crazy. He goes way out of his range.
Why is he doing that? Just sing it like the record you could get by. It would be great. It just always.
All he has to do is talk the words in his baritone voice, and it would be fine.
And listen, and people will say, "Oh, but that was always Dave's thing," and it was. But Dave, even when he was in the '80s, when he would forget the words and he was out of breath and all that stuff, he still sounded cool. He does not sound cool trying to sing higher now that he was doing that. And that'll always annoy me is like that he could have.
Oh yeah. That last tour in the car now, I've got that last show from the Hollywood Bowl, and you hear how good the music sounds. You hear how good Wolf and Ed sing together, and then you hear Roth on top of it all, and it's like, yikes.
Yeah.
If you can actually find isolated tracks from everything you guys are talking about, and when you isolate them and just take Dave and put him out there, it really does not sound very good at all. It sounds really bad.
And Charles doesn't have to be that way, because you know what? If he just sang them like the record, he's trying to sing high. Why are you trying to sing
so high? He has done that on the last tour
Yeah.
He was just starting the Vegas dates, right?
You are
Yeah.
100% correct, and that angered me even more because it's like, why couldn't you do that in 2015?
Yeah, he was a little bit better on the Vegas dates.
Well,
After
he
like the
was
first few
definitely-
nights, he settled in a bit.
Right. And that's
Maybe
when
someone
everybody
spoke
fell in
to
love
him
with
or
him. And like,
whatever.
this is the way it was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw the bootlegs of him. I'm like, well, why couldn't he have done this in 2015? He was just
Yeah.
like, I mean, it was like, I'll never, because you could tell that Wolfgang and Eddie and Alex were overcompensating. They wanted to sound as good as they possibly could to try to make up for Dave, because I'm sure they couldn't go to him
They
and say,
were tight.
Right.
And
Exactly.
like you said, John, they had been together since 07. Now, not consecutive years, but they're seasoned musicians other than Wolfgang. So between 7 and 8, 11, 12 and 13, and 15, you said that they went out at the height of that band's performance. Dave aside,
Right.
Yeah,
and Eddie's missing half of his tongue. He's got throat cancer.
Eddie was playing great. And he was sober. That's also key.
And he was still singing, and he still sang pretty well with the harmonies with Wolfgang. You hear them, it's like, oh, he actually sounded good.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me that Dave did just, it's like, come on, man.
Well, Dave could, all he had to do was just hum the melody.
Exactly.
Or talk it.
Exactly. But you know what? It just tells me that he was really unapproachable, because I don't think that they could go up to him and say, hey, Dave, let's have a meeting here. You got to start, you got to start pulling your weight. You got to sing your parts more like the record, man. You can't hit these notes. They couldn't go to him and say that. You know that. Everything had to be done through channels and stuff like that. And I think they wanted to keep the peace and to get through the tour.
Well, really, that could have been, all health issues aside, that could have been their last go anyway.
It could have, right? But wouldn't it have been nice to have that last show released on a DVD? I mean, Eddie and Alex and Wolfgang, their part, hey, that could have been released on a DVD, remixed and put out. But Dave,
that whole tour, they were. Yeah,
they
were tied.
That last tour was my biggest bone of contention, though, because they put out so many great shows during that tour, and then the one that they picked was Tokyo Dome, and he wasn't perfect during that tour.
It was
the band.
I took that was horrible.
They were seamless through the whole tour.
It was horrible. I don't even think Eddie played that well on that show that night. If you listen to Unchained, everybody listens to go to the very end of the song when they're soloing out. Eddie is so far ahead of Alex and Wolfgang. He's literally racing. I mean, he ends the song before they do. It's just like, I don't know if you couldn't hear it or
that
what.
record came from 2013, that recording.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But that last tour, they were, Ed, Al, and Wolf were really, really tight on that last tour.
I agree 100%. They were it's just so sad because, nowadays, like, the Sammy Hagar show from Tokyo in 89, that whole show was brought back to 5150 and basically re-recorded in the studio. That's barely live, that show. It's like, I remember when they were doing it, they re-recorded everything on that. All the background vocals, everything were re-recorded on that. And very minimal of the live vocals.
Yeah, Right Here, Right Now is rumored to be a studio album.
Exactly.
Oh, there's video evidence.
But you know what it is?
You've got them doing it in the studio, and it sounds exactly like it is on the disc.
Exactly. They put like a crowd sound behind them. Won't get fooled again. There's no evidence that they ever played that song live anywhere. I can't find any. I know people have talked about it. There's no evidence that they played that song. It's like they did it in the studio, put a crowd track behind it of the crowd cheering, and they put it on the album.
Like a Kiss album.
I don't get it.
The only time they performed it was during the tour to support the live CD.
You got it. Exactly. And with the prevalence of YouTube now, it's easy to go back and say, no, look, they re-recorded that whole vocal. Listen to that vocal on the real show that I somebody filmed on their camera. So even the Roth, even if they said, hey, the October 4th show, the final show ever, bring it in the studio.
He could have recut the vocals.
Right, but then people are going to say, "Well, look, we have the show on YouTube, and that's not real. It's all redone."
It's very
you know what I mean?
common.
It's not a live album.
The Aussie Speak at the Devil album is all re-recorded vocals, and the Unleashed in the East famous Priest album is all
Priest
redone,
album,
and
yep.
Kiss Alive. So it's very common for the singer to go back in and redo the vocals.
Absolutely,
Well,
but I mean,
yeah,
you have to.
right.
And then we're not even
You want
going
to hear
to get
something
into
crazy?
Kiss Alive or Kiss Alive 2.
Exactly, they're all fake.
Yeah.
Here's something
Talk
crazy.
about
I was
Rob
watching
of my
a YouTube
innocence.
video the
God.
other day. Yeah, I know. When you find that out, on a YouTube thing the other day, a guy did a thing, and he took that singer from Canada, who's a good singer, Michael Bublé. And do you know that his voice is like even on his Christmas special, it's run through like an auto tune.
Yeah.
And this guy had proof on there on the video. He showed how they did it. But even live, like in concerts, they're running him through like some kind of software, and it's pitch correcting his voice for pitch correction. Wow. And he's supposed to be like a real singer. It's just like, I mean, that's the extent that these guys are doing what they're doing today as far as vocals. They're running it through live in concert.
My daughter had gone up to one of the Disneyland Christmas celebrations up there, and he was performing. They did the same thing up there.
Yeah, I didn't think they could do that, but apparently they can run it through.
Yeah, the singers are coming up today running live auto-tune.
Yeah,
live
so
auto-tune.
Whatever's coming out of their voice is getting pitch corrected before it hits the PA. Really,
exactly. That's what he was doing up at Disneyland.
Can you believe that?
If you have the money, Antares, who patented auto-tune, that's the company, makes a rack unit.
But all that aside, it would have never happened in Van Halen.
No.
You know. No. So, I mean,
because they're old school.
Roth,
what's in all,
handpicked that particular show. I don't know why, but it's my guess that, I mean, it's like this. When Roth came back in 2007, he was singing the songs.
He was doing pretty good.
He was singing in 2007, right? But once that tour wore on, and then the record and that tour, and then that it got, and he aged also. I don't know. We don't know if there's health issues with Dave there.
No, you don't. You're right.
That are contributing or not. Hope not, but it got progressively, whatever you want to call it. And it is what it is. But like, it should he, maybe he shouldn't. But it's always nice to see Dave and him to walk out on a stage, even in his shape,
Look, I want to see Dave no matter what condition he's in. If he's out there and he's performing, I want to see him. I love him. My memories of Dave from 40 years ago are going to the grave with me.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
I don't like seeing a downside. I don't like seeing a negative performance from Dave. But at the same time, I don't care what he's presenting. I'm a fan of David Lee Roth. And support him beyond the day he passes away. I hope he lives forever. But
even if he walked out there on a cane,
absolutely only able to snap a finger and hum a few words, I want to see Dave.
Right.
Here's one thing that nobody looks at and thinks about. Everybody looks at Eddie, and how much he was a game changer for guitarists. What did Dave do for lead singers after him?
Well, I can say this for a better part of a decade.
That's right.
Everybody who had any ability to even play that game wanted to be David Lee Roth.
Dave is a game changer as well.
Well, David Lee Roth is Dennis Rodman on the Bulls,
Yeah, there you go. That's a good analogy.
Rodman was phenomenal, but he wasn't Michael Jordan.
But and Dave was different.
Dave was more than that from the onset. Don't undermine it. Dave was Dave, the
it's
combination of
important.
that band, those musicians, and that attitude and everything involved with making that music and doing it live, you know, that's
Back
no
then, when
one
they were at
gets
their
the credit.
finest,
They all get it.
Well, Rodman was a very important part of the Bulls. He wasn't Michael Jordan. You know,
Yeah.
I just think so. Rodman or Dave was a giant mountain, like a K2 or something, and Eddie's just up here, like 10 times higher. He was over
But you know what?
same
Dave
band.
needed Eddie, and Eddie needed Dave at the
No, no,
beginning.
Exactly,
But-
Tom.
Right.
Tom, Eddie doesn't get that far without having Dave in his corner,
No,
because
I agree.
he
with
needed
you.
someone to front the band. Eddie's too much of an introvert.
But
I
in
agree with you
those
100%,
early
but
days,
what I'm saying
in
is,
the early days, Tommy, not to interrupt, it was not all just it became that about a guitar player.
Yeah.
You know?
from every
But
school I
in
grew
those days, up until a certain point, it wasn't about. It was about a band.
Are you talking about before they got signed? Because
No, I'm talking about up until things started.
when everything unraveled.
Guys, let me ask you a question. Ready? Let's go across the panel here. Dave's best vocal performance on any album. Which album, Tony?
I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
Dave's best vocal performance on an album. What album?
Not what I like, or just
Right,
the
just
best vocal
You got it.
performance.
Exactly.
Skyscraper.
Okay. Actually, a Van Halen album. Let's go to Van Halen albums.
Okay. I would have to say vocal performance. Now, just vocal
Yes.
performance.
Yeah.
Just based on vocal performance.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have to say
Don't pick mine.
Van Halen 2.
You got it, brother. That's it. What were you guys
Based on just the vocal performance.
What were you going to say, Keith? What do you think?
Women and Children first.
Okay, it's close in there. Charles?
I still like 1984, guys.
Yeah,
I like it.
I love that album
I
too.
love it. And other than the US Festival, one of the absolute best tours they ever did.
Right. Yeah.
And Dave was in all of his glory.
Yep.
In
Tom?
1984.
Look, Holly Lewis says Van Halen 1. We're all over the board because just vocals alone, my favorite vocals album is Fair Warning.
Gotcha. And Kid, what do you think?
Well, my favorite Van Halen album is Fair Warning, but with Tea Cake framing it in a vocal performance, I
didn't frame it in that. Who
that was
framed
John's
it in
question.
That was John's question. Yeah.
That was John
Okay.
framed
Well, it has to
yeah.
be. You're talking about vocals only. Take the music aside, just his vocals.
Best vocal performance on album.
The first thing that jumped into my mind is the same as Holly, is his vocals on the first record, because on the first record, even though it's not my favorite record, it's one of my least because it's so played out, but he does do, I'm very into heavy metal, like screaming and high pitch and all that wacky shit that they can do with their voices when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to go with that one because he does a lot of crazy stuff on that record that he wouldn't do later.
I think
he was at his youngest then.
I agree with
It
that.
was raw too, and nobody
He
heard stuff like that.
did evolve over the next 4 years from 80 to 80, next 5 years from 80 to 84. His voice,
He probably
he
became a
learned to
better
sing.
singer.
He actually learned to sing better. And so
Right.
I enjoy him on it, but I love 81 though.
I
agree
can
with you
see
on
what
Holly.
you're saying, Charles, because by 1984, he was a better singer,
That's what I'm saying.
not just a screamer.
Yeah.
I think it's Van Halen too. I agree with Tony. And on top of that, I got the impression from Greg Renoff's Ted Templeman book that Ted and even I think Greg felt that was his best, because some of his vocal on some of the songs were, I mean, like Dance the Night Away and stuff like that. if you hear the alternate take of Dance the Night Away, we've all heard that isolated. He was on. He sounded really
That's
good.
a really good record.
That's true.
I like that record.
That is
I
true.
like that record better
is
than the
true.
first record.
Yeah. And you know what? It was like Holly mentions his whistle tone. You know, that whistle, that scream, that trademark thing that he did. It was sad when A Different Kind of Truth came out because it was completely gone. He couldn't do it
anymore.
You know, and I kind of missed that being on there.
Yeah,
you know? It really wasn't there at all.
That's why I grabbed Women and Children first, because of that Tarzan scream to start off with.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
But also, you got to look at all the textures of all the songs. I mean, everything
Janice.
from Everybody Wants Some or Romeo Delight to, you know.
In a simple rhyme.
Could this be magic?
Yeah, in a simple rhyme. He's
also
awesome.
take this to another level. We're talking about his best vocals. How about, let's face it, David Lee Roth is one hell of a lyricist. He wrote wonderful lyrics, not just good lyrics,
clever
spectacular lyrics. And, you can compare them to other versions of Van Halen, and they stand alone as far as I'm concerned.
I agree 100%. I think everybody would agree on that.
Yeah, let it be said.
Album do
David
you
Lee
think
Roth
he portrayed his best lyrics on? And I'll have to say this, as far as lyrics, it's a tie with me between album 1 and album 2, because he was bringing all of his best. I mean, it's just his wit. He was so sharp. In 80, 81, 82, he was so sharp. And I would say his best lyrics are on album 1 and album 2.
I think A Different Kind of Truth has some great lyrics on that album too.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like Outer Space. I mean, if you listen to what that song is really about, it's like it's so clever. I mean,
yes.
That's great, even on that album. So,
and that's one of the greatest things that I'm going to remember Dave for. Years from now, I'm going to look back and. When you're driving down the road and you're humming Van Halen and you're singing in your head, sometimes, you're just singing out loud and you're singing Dave lyrics. They are serious lyrics.
Yeah. Sometimes they hit you. It's like what he's actually saying. And I start to laugh and I go,
I
never realized
that's badass. That's what you say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, two things on David Lee Roth. Because, one, in the 80s, he has the image of the party boy, surfer boy, Jeff Spicoli type, but his lyrics are very, very intelligent that he doesn't get credit for. And secondly, people can criticize his voice all they want, but when you look back at the history of Van Halen, there was no better person or more perfect person to be singing those songs than David Lee Roth. No one else could have done it.
That is a fact. And
nobody could have taken the music that Eddie put out and put lyrics to it,
right?
Except for David Lee Roth.
Even when Eddie was on the outs with him after 1984, he would always say that I don't know how he was able to squeeze a melody into that piece of music I gave him, like House of Pain or Girl Gone. I mean, just to squeeze a melody in there. It's like that.
He did.
That's no easy feat. That's a talent he had.
Yeah.
And that's why we love him.
That's exactly why we love him.
I like when we go off on little tangents here like this.
But that's just proof that for quite a few years they worked really well with each other.
I fucking love David Lee Roth.
Yep. We got to put that on a T-shirt. I'd wear it.
Here's another thing I'll say. I was going to say this before.
I got one of those, Charles.
I know you do. I want one.
Of course you do.
Here's something controversial for you guys. We were talking about bands who do auto-tune and stuff like that. And we know Van Halen didn't do that. But I believe that in the 90s, early 90s, Van Halen was dabbling in pre-recorded background vocals. And I think that there was some pre-recorded guitar.
What do you mean?
Interesting.
Any song that
dabbling.
when Alex is wearing the cans on his head, that means he's playing to a sequencer, sequencer or a click. So certain songs, if you go back and listen, Mine All Mine, for instance, the part where they're going, ooh, mine, all mine. If you listen to the guitar in that, he played a Strat on the album and it's very clean. And I think when they did that live, that part was pre-recorded because he's playing on the Ernie Ball on that tour, and I watched a few times. It didn't really match up, and if you watch some of the bootlegs, it's
on
too
which
identical.
one? The Montreal show? Or the Toronto show?
Not just the Toronto, but if you watch some of the other ones too, and the other tour when they had the big surfboard, the surfing one, that one, you know,
They did that the whole tour.
Yeah, right. So if you listen to some of the bootlegs and stuff on there, listen to that guitar there, and you'll it's kind of, it just stands out because it's too perfect and too clean. And I don't know, you got to check it out and listen to it and come back and see what you think. And as well as that, some of the background vocals were some background vocals. I think they.
I'm just loving Ben Tom's background vocals.
Did John freeze?
John's frozen.
In a good way, though,
John.
with a smile on his face. Hit refresh, bruh.
Tea-Cake, since the chat's throwing out phrases, why don't we go around the horn and come up with our favorite Dave line? I'll start it. Dirty-faced kid in a garbage can.
Bam.
Are we talking lyric or,
yeah, because Ben Tom mentioned Blue-Eyed Murder and a size 5 dress. I mean, he always
guys want to play along?
Wordplay.
That's my favorite.
That's a great one.
That's my favorite.
He has a ton of them, though.
Got to start off right at the beginning. Come on. I live my life like there's no tomorrow. All I've got to have to steal.
So I have this theory, and you guys can disagree or tell me. I have this theory that I think the reason Dave works so well with Eddie is the way he phrases his words is in such a way that they sound different from a vernacular perspective, from a audiological perspective. It hits your ear differently than if you said it all straight ahead. His phrasing is very off meter, and it reminds me a lot of the way Eddie solos. Just the way, like, he'll say something like, I'm trying to think of a line. It's got me on pins and needles, and she knows that part. But if anyone else sung it, it would not phrase like that. It would,
Do you know why?
No.
Jolson. Al Jolson.
Yeah, it was his biggest influence. Yeah.
Yep.
So what's your pick, Tommy, for your favorite
I'm still thinking
phrase?
I don't know that I have one that's I've got a bunch, but I don't have one that's my favorite. I have to think about that. That's a good question.
There are so many to
many
to choose from. God.
Oh, I know.
I have 20 I could choose from for one song.
There's a section in a song that like to me really hits me like that, just lyrically, but I can't think of like one line because I like more dark and I like more melancholy things. For me,
Secrets is out.
No, I love that song too, but for me, which is funny because the old joke about them saying that they wrote a 2-chord song to make fun of all the punks, but I love the line in Ain't Talking About Love when he but it's not the short line, the full portion where he says been to the edge.
Yep.
Lost a lot of friends there, baby.
There you go, John.
That was actually the first thing that popped in my head when this was brought up.
There's so many.
That means a lot to me.
To quote them is easy.
I can relate to it,
But a favorite. See, that's a show right there.
Charles, I just pulled that off the top of my head. I'm sure.
I know, but it's a show. We could go for an hour talking about lyrics by David Lee Roth.
Yeah, because Christopher Live Sour has another one from the same song I picked, DOA, which is just loaded with them. We were sitting ducks for the policeman. Anyone who's ever been in that situation, I have. Yep. Horrible.
There you go.
Date night. Mischief
Horrible.
Night. Nice.
What happens when you egg a cop's house?
Yeah. Back in those days, It was like, I know what you got on you. Give me what you got on you. Now it's like, let me see your hands.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mean Streets is loaded with them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite Van Halen song.
So my favorite Dave sayings, I guess, are Dave always, um, if it was a weekend show, Dave would always make reference to wherever they were to it's Friday night in Louisville. Looks like you guys start the weekend on Tuesday around here. Um, yeah.
I mean,
And
geez,
that
he's got
was
some. Give me something to write on. That's just classic stuff. Easy. Just you've
Mhm.
heard it for years.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one Sour just pulled up too, because it's not even a lyric; it's just him improvising in the booth when he did the kind of like the way the line runs up back at the stockings. That is
Yeah.
so classic.
That's his best stuff. That's his best stuff.
No, don't
Mhm.
take it.
Don't take him off; leave him
I'll
on.
be right back,
Mhm.
guys.
And Tom, I mean, the dude was fucking classic.
And then
I-
when he
I-
would do it
Nobody
live,
wrote
he
rock.
would do
Nobody wrote
improv
rock
even
and roll
more.
lyrics better than David Lee Roth.
No, I never said he was. I just feel he was drastically overshadowed by Eddie. I don't think he got as much credit as he should have, and I think he would have got more credit had he not been in a band with such a phenomenal effing guitar player.
That's true, but but tonight it's about Dave, so we're just examining his role in the band, and it is definitely overshadowed and underlooked.
Yeah.
With Dave and Eddie, though, that's the one time where you are actually allowed to cross the streams.
Yeah, I've never been a big Dave solo fan at all, though. I mean, I'll tell you straight out, I could take it or leave it. So, you know,
He had moments. He had great moments solo.
he got
Certain
lucky
songs.
by Bissonette and Billy Sheehan. He had a phenomenal band. So
Oh yeah,
I agree. And after that, it seemed like
that would have been sad, you know.
yeah. I think
You know, they all-
Skyscraper had some good moments on it. You know, certain songs like that don't get any attention, like that song Hina. You know that song Hina on Skyscraper?
Hina,
I
damn
think that-
good.
It's
I think
obscure.
Damn Good is such a great song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn good is good. But I think
In the summertime.
Hina Revised sounds like Eddie playing the guitar on that. It sounds very Eddie-ish, you know, the whole song, you know. I mean, I think Dave's vocals sound great on that one.
That's such a great summer song. Damn Good.
Yeah.
I also like when he talks and he references things in summers. He goes, "That was 3 summers ago." I love when he does that.
That's right. That's right.
But I still stand by what I always said. I believe Van Halen had to implode in 1984. It was just like they were like a comet. And, you know, when something burns that hot, it has to just destruct in a way.
Burn
You know what I
out.
mean? And I think that I don't know where they would have went from there. I think it was almost like they were just at the top of their game. And it was just like, I don't know that it could have gotten much better. You know what I mean? I think,
You know,
it just.
geez,
That
John, I agree
84
with you
tour, they were at
100%.
the pinnacle.
It's
I think John's premise, and it's been very wonderful to contemplate this since I've known him over the past few months, is that something that good is bound to crash at some point. They were just too good.
Yeah. Yeah. I firmly believe that.
You said
Right,
much
and
like the
you know what?
Police, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, they're just not going to go forever.
It's thermodynamics. It's the laws of science. You can't defeat it. If you burn
Exactly.
that hot, you're gonna burn out faster.
And they burn brighter than any band, really, you know?
So different.
What's that quote from Blade Runner? The candle that burns twice as bright.
Yeah.
People are the
It's
same
the
way,
truth.
man. How many friends you know that were just like the person that lit up the room and they died way too young? They were done, man. They
exactly.
They burned hot. I had a friend.
And look at Eddie
so
Van,
many of
look
them
at
go
Eddie
that
Van
way
Halen
too.
dying young.
There you go. I had a friend like that, died real young, but man, did he live every freaking day.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
And
didn't
Eddie's
know.
Eddie's a perfect example of that. Eddie, he died young. He burnt it, you know what I mean? It was like people that burn that bright, you know what I mean?
Ran until the wheels
I don't
came
know.
off.
Yeah. Well, hell, look at Dave's life. There's not much in life he's missed.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty amazing
come on.
he's still around.
Number one, how many levels of jiu-jitsu, karate, taekwondo, all martial arts, EMT, sniper cert, What else? Am I missing
Mountain
anything?
climber.
There's
Mountain
got to be
climber.
more. There's
Yeah.
got to be more because anybody who'll do all that shit.
Oh yeah,
has done a few other
languages too.
things,
I know when he was living in New York, he was canoeing on the Hudson River.
Yeah, on the East River.
It's crazy.
Yeah, up there in Red Hook and
Out
City
there
Island.
in the out, and that water is not clean up there. Out there
No,
in the
not back then.
sewage.
It wasn't. It is now, but trust me, I used to swim in the Hudson. I know.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up with the George Carlin attitude. You know, hey, we swam in raw sewage, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dave doesn't get the credit, but he was a true Renaissance man.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that everybody forgets about him. And
Yeah, he
you know,
gets a bad
just like
rap.
Gene Simmons said, you grab that teenager kid and you have him listen to Eddie. You grab that same kid and you have him read Dave's book and see what he went through in life too.
Yeah, I enjoyed Dave's book. I read it several years ago. I've got it. I hadn't read it in recent. I read it a couple of times, but Dave's got his view on everything, but it does like he said himself, it rambles a little bit, but I
Yeah, what was the
enjoyed
quote?
it.
It tends to ramble.
It
Tends.
tends,
That's because Dave rambles a bit.
but no, it there was a lot of cool nuggets in there that until that time, you didn't know about, Eddie's wedding day and all kind of, yeah. Great book though. I mean, I thought so.
John, back in 2005, when he was only on the air for 4 months or whatever, being that he was coming out of New York, we heard him in Boston. Did you ever check out his radio show?
I used to listen to it. It was tough to listen to for a while, but
Talking about the Roth show, right?
apparently,
Yeah, the original,
Yeah.
when he was actually
No,
on the
when he
Yep.
replaced
No,
Howard,
his
right?
morning show.
Yeah.
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 you know,
Right.
the show that's on there now, the producer of that show, this guy named Al Dukes, he was on Dave's show too, and he still brings it up from time to time on there. And apparently, it was real tough there. I mean, Dave, it was very threatening, and that guy Animal that was with him, apparently they were like, he said, yeah, he goes, it was crazy when he was here. Dave was just. I guess he started to get angry and he started to feel like people were out to get him and he got paranoid and it was like, even Howard
Let me
Stern
sh-
says that Dave didn't
I'll
speak
be
to him
right
for a
back.
while.
I'm gonna get a couple of things.
But
Yeah, so Howard Stern
Dave
was
replacing Howard is like Gary Sharon replacing Dave or Sammy. He was in a no-win situation there. You
True.
all
Well,
have to know that and realize that.
Dave's not for everybody. His personality,
No,
he's very
he was a
quirky
stopgap.
and right. I thought he might try to become a little more mainstream for that, but he didn't sell out. He just did what he wanted to
sell
do. I'll
out.
give him credit for that.
Dave's
No
always going to be
stopgap.
Dave.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for that.
Yep. The one thing that we can always keep, if we choose, are our principles.
There you go. Be right back, guys.
100%.
But I don't know. I mean, will this be the last we see of Dave? I don't know. Unless he's ill.
I hope it's not. I mean, I've met him twice. And the first time he was a complete asshole and blew me off at the mall. It was the day after I saw Van Halen in '84 and met the band later on after the show at the condo. I'm like, holy crap. My friends and I go to the bar or go to the mall later on to go shopping, and we see him walking down the aisle, and just like, holy crap, that's Dave. Dave! He's like blowing us off and everything. Like, okay, asshole. Maybe he's hungover. But then later on in my life in '99, I met him.
Forget about it.
And my roommate was a radio DJ down the Jersey Shore, Stacy X. And he was performing at a club up in Seabright, and she interviewed him. And I was right there with her. And it was just unbelievable on, you know, how much more different he was. He was still a little bit, you know, cocky, but he was a lot more, you know, outgoing to everybody. You know, he was really, really cool then. And then, you know, I guess things went south after that, you know. Then that's when he went back with Van Halen. You know, and they tried recording, doing the recordings in 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It was 2000. Was it 2000 or 2001?
Yeah, they did
2002,
2000 or 2002 also.
Yeah.
That was the first attempt at Different Truth, right?
Right, right.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I think we mentioned this before on the show, but I always thought that those the new tracks
Yeah.
from A Different Kind
Nice.
of Truth were actually new songs, but they weren't. I think they were from that era, from that failed time,
Mm-hmm. I was
which
going to
I
tell
thought
you,
was
TK,
surprising.
to stand up and show it off, man.
Yeah.
Is that the official one they were selling at the gig on Tea Cake?
No, this
Uh,
is that is a reprint of this. There's one.
Yeah. The one you're wearing is the real one, right?
Yeah.
Picasso Brothers.
All right. Well, and probably have seen this one somewhere.
Nice.
Probably
Mhm.
seen
That's
that.
cool, bro.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I had that shirt.
Well,
Oh, I miss that shirt too.
Nice. That's a cool shirt.
Old number one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Nah.
That's the darn truth, right?
And he rubs it in. Pow! No. I don't have a Hagar shirt. I've got a chicken foot shirt. I know that. The circle, I don't have a circle shirt. All right. All right. You guys got anything else?
I think we're good.
We are a little over 2. Keith, it's been a pleasure, my friend,
You are a
hanging out
rocker,
with
Keith
you.
Campbell.
Thank
Very
you,
cool.
brothers.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
nice
all.
to meet
Thank
you
you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
And,
thanks for coming
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Keith,
cool,
this has
brother.
been fun, man.
Fun hanging
We'll have
out.
to do this again, brother.
Definitely.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Oh, shit. Let's just stay on another hour and I'll call in work tomorrow. All right?
All right.
As long as
Let
you
me
call
go to
in
the
for me,
bathroom
All
real
Tony,
right.
quick,
I
and then
have
we
no
can
That
call
won't
problem.
around
happen
too.
for me.
Oh, God. Oh,
We were way under for coverage today, so if I call off tomorrow, they're gonna be not happy.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of that going around today, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people out there because they're sick. They're not being jerks. They're doing the right thing. They're staying away from everyone, but they're no. But thankfully, no one's gotten really sick or anything horrible like that in where I work. But just people getting sick, And yeah, and then they're out like I think they have to be out I think a week now. So
Just be safe out there, all of you, please. You know,
Yes, be safe. Take
that's all I
care
ask.
of
You know,
I'd
yourself.
rather have them be at home for a week than give it to me.
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah. You know,
Absolutely. Love you.
think of the
Um,
big picture in the long run.
yeah.
I just want to say one thing though, and this is Halen's side alone. You know, Halen's stuff aside. I just want to say thank you to all of you who have been there for me with the past goings on in my life, and I really appreciate that because you guys have all been a haven for me, and it means the world to me. And thank you.
Right
You're
on,
welcome,
Keith.
brother. You're
Good
welcome.
to have you, man.
You rock.
Yeah.
Nice to finally meet you, Keith.
Keith
Always been here.
Campbell.
Just glad to be part of it though.
Right on, brother.
Here's the Keith, bro.
There you go, man.
Right on. Yes, we will definitely have to do this again, Keith.
Yes,
You
definitely.
are welcome back anytime, sir.
There's many things
Absolutely.
we can talk about.
Absolutely.
And I
So,
can't wait to get on with the rest of the crew too. Get Neil on here. Anybody else? Yeah. Even
yeah,
get
dude.
Mancuda back on too. That'd
Yeah,
be fun.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure John will be joining us very soon
Oh yeah.
on the other show. Yeah, I was just
Nice.
wondering that myself. Yeah, John's great. Love John.
John's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he is.
It's a
Yeah.
national treasure, you guys, right?
One man party.
So
True.
let's see what's loaded in.
It's got a lot of energy.
I don't have anything loaded in. Anyway, I thought I had a. Well, mate, let's do this real quick. Bear with me. Um, and I'll load this in and show it. So yeah, so this Saturday on Show Me Your Pick, 9 o'clock Saturday night slaughter.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
How ironic. Last week you had Warrant on, and then this week you had Slaughter. I actually saw the two of them perform together at Birch Hill nightclub
Nice.
Oh,
That place was
nice.
in
awesome.
Jersey.
What year was that, Keith? You remember?
98, I believe it was. Maybe 99.
Very
No, it
cool.
was 98 because I had just got my my coat of arm tattoo, and I'd met David Bryan from Bon Jovi
Mhm.
right there next to at the bar, and he had just gotten his Joker tattoo, and we had the same tattoo artist we were dealing with.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Somebody's gonna walk
That's
away
killer,
with that.
Yeah,
I like that club, Keith.
Oh,
yeah.
That was
Love
a
that
really
club.
cool
nice,
club.
Tony.
Such a great club.
Yeah, somebody's gonna cart that away.
A lot of great metal
Saturday.
bands in the 90s played there.
Oh yeah, and I saw them all.
Yeah, it was a fun place.
Yep.
Was it in Edison?
No, it was in Sayreville.
Sayreville, where the Starland Ballroom is now.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Dana,
yeah,
New
same
Jersey.
location. Yeah, right there on Route 9.
Where John Bon Jovi's from.
Yep.
Right?
All right, kids. All right, I'm trying to scroll upward. Goodness. Anyway, I can't. It's too far up. There was a comment that I was trying to find. But anyway, we're going to scat on out of here. I don't know if scat's a good word to use. Anyway, we will.
We'll take a scat on out of here.
Oh,
There you go.
shit. All right. Thanks for being here,
Thanks,
everybody.
John.
Thanks
Love you
for
guys.
watching. Keith Campbell, nice having you here, dude.
You rock, Keith.
Yeah. And we will be right back here next week. The Wolfgang Mammoth WVH Dirty Honey Tour is about to crank up in 2 short weeks.
Yes,
My camera
it
was
is.
down. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, a lot of Mammoth WVH news coming our way and your way next week and the week after. A lot of exciting stuff when these concerts start to happen and we start going. Tom's going opening night. We're all gonna make the tour. So yeah, we'll see you guys and gals next week. Analog Kid, Bent Tom John, and Keith Campbell. I guess his phone died. Thanks, Keith. You rock,
Thanks,
bro.
man.
Yeah, Keith. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Any last words there, Charles Green?
Yeah, just don't forget, you guys. Doesn't matter whether you go north, south, east, or west. Here in Halenville, every road straight to Van Halen, you guys.
Nice.
Great week. Do something nice for somebody this week. I got a new year coming up. And rock on. Be well.